Archaeology remains one of the most revealing windows into human history. At times, it demands careful planning and endless patience. At others, it's a simple twist of fate that brings something incredible to light. Some discoveries are so strange they leave even experienced researchers at a loss. Abandoned cities, unexplained artifacts, skeletons buried in the wrong place. The past isn't gone, it's buried, waiting. While some findings challenge what we thought we knew, others deepened the mystery. These are 15 discoveries that changed everything. 15. Göbekli Tepe. On a quiet hill in southeastern Turkey, something ancient waited beneath the soil. For decades, its importance was overlooked. Then in the 1990s, archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began to unearth a vast ring of carved stone pillars, some weighing over 20 tons, dating back to 9500 BCE. These weren't ruins of a settlement. There were no houses, no graves, only megaliths arranged with care, etched with images of animals and symbols whose meanings remain unknown. It suggested a moment when belief itself may have taken physical form. Long before agriculture or permanent homes, people gathered here to build something monumental. Whether it was a place of worship or a ceremonial site, its existence overturned long-held ideas about early civilization. Göbekli Tepe stands not only as the oldest known monumental structure, but also as a reminder that imagination, symbolism, and the search for meaning were present from the very beginning. 14. The oldest footprints in North America. In 2021, footprints were discovered in the dry lake bed of White Sands, New Mexico. At first glance, they looked simple, but further study revealed something remarkable. These impressions left by children and adults dated back more than 21,000 years, far earlier than any confirmed human presence on the continent. Some prints depict ancient animals that are now extinct. Others showed quiet paths, as if families were walking through a familiar landscape. This wasn't a moment of brief arrival. It was daily life, preserved in the soil. The discovery didn't just shift the timeline. It upended the broader story of migration and survival. For decades, it was believed humans couldn't have crossed into North America until long after glaciers receded. These footprints, silent and deliberate, proved otherwise. They tell us people lived here earlier than we ever imagined, moving across the land with confidence long before anyone expected them to be there. 13. Richard III's grave. In 1485, Richard III was killed in battle and quietly buried somewhere in Leicester. His grave disappeared into history, wrapped in centuries of speculation and rumor. Then in 2012, archaeologists uncovered a skeleton beneath a modern parking lot. The spine was curved. The skull bore fatal injuries. DNA confirmed it. The remains were Richard's. He had been laid to rest without ceremony. No coffin, no monument. His story had become legend, distorted by plays and politics. But his body told a different story. It revealed the violence of his final moments and the silence that followed. Rediscovering him wasn't just about solving a mystery. It brought the past into focus, not through books or stories, but through bones. A king, long turned into caricature, had been found in the ground, just as he was. The moment reminded the world how easily people become myth, and how rarely myths give them back. 12. Madaba Map. In the 1880s, while building a church floor in Madaba, Jordan, workers revealed a 6th century mosaic unlike any other. Stretching across the ground was a detailed map of the ancient Middle East, crafted from millions of small colored tiles. It displayed cities like Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Jericho, some of which were marked more clearly here than in any surviving document. This wasn't just decoration. The map was functional, spiritual, and deeply symbolic. It remains the oldest known geographic map of the Holy Land, offering modern archaeologists valuable clues when locating biblical sites. Though parts of it have been lost to time, much of it remains intact. The Madaba map continues to guide researchers today, not only because of what it shows, but because of how it was imagined. It reflects a time when geography and faith were inextricably bound, when people charted the land through a lens shaped as much by belief as by physical place. 11. Serapeum of Alexandria. Hidden beneath modern Alexandria, the Serapeum once stood as both temple and sanctuary of knowledge. Built in honor of Serapis, a god created to unify Greek and Egyptian beliefs, it also housed scrolls tied to the Great Library of Alexandria. For centuries, it represented a place where learning and faith were allowed to coexist. In 391 AD, religious violence swept through the region, and the Serapeum was destroyed. Its remains vanished under layers of silence. In the 1940s, archaeologists uncovered its ruins beneath a cemetery, stone columns, passages, and remnants of a forgotten era. The scrolls were gone, but the architecture still whispered of what had been lost. The Serapeum wasn't just a building. It reflected an entire worldview now buried by time. Its rediscovery serves as a quiet reminder of how easily knowledge can be erased and how long it waits, hoping someone will look for it again. 10. Knossos. Long before classical Europe rose from myth, Knossos had already taken shape. Hidden beneath centuries of soil on the island of Crete, its ruins revealed something unexpected. An organized, elegant city thriving as early as 3500 BCE. Excavated in the late 19th century, the site unfolded into a maze of stone corridors, multi-level structures, painted walls, and drainage systems that reflected thoughtful planning. No grand armies carved it into existence. No conquest defined its foundation. Instead, the Minoans built a city around ceremony, commerce, and design. Art stretched across plastered walls, capturing bulls in motion and rituals frozen in time. Beneath its structure lies the likely root of myths that followed: the labyrinth, the Minotaur, King Minos. But the truth left behind in stone carried its own power. Knossos wasn't just Europe's oldest city. It was a reminder that civilization often begins not with empires, but with rhythm, beauty, and quiet mastery. 9. Otzi the Iceman. He wasn't buried, yet he was never truly lost. Otzi lay sealed in ice for over 5,000 years, until shifting snow revealed him in 1991, high in the Alps. His body held more than time. It carried the weight of an ancient world. Wounds stretched across his skin. An arrowhead was lodged in his shoulder. Tools, woven garments, and a copper axe were still with him, each telling part of a life once lived in motion. What he wore, what he carried, even what he ate that final day, survived alongside him. Nothing about his death was peaceful, but everything about his preservation was extraordinary. Scientists studied his hands, his gear, his blood, and found more than evidence. They found presence. Otzi wasn't a figure of legend or lore. He was a person, walking through cold wind towards something we'll never know, leaving behind a silence that speaks louder than history ever could. 8. Mohenjo-Daro. Mohenjo-Daro emerged from the ground without fanfare. No royal tombs, no towering monuments, no inscriptions boasting of conquests. What it left behind was order. Streets are aligned in perfect grids. Brick houses rose with measured balance. Drainage systems ran beneath the city like quiet veins. For a city built around 2500 BCE, its structure suggested not just survival, but intention. Over 35,000 people once lived here, yet no palaces stood above them. Their world seemed built on planning, not power. Even today, no one speaks the language they left behind. No single name from its leaders survives. The city faded around 1900 BCE, still offering no clear reason why. Its silence has weight. It didn't collapse in fire or glory, but disappeared with the same precision that shaped it. In that stillness, Mohenjo-Daro remains, thoughtful, deliberate, and enduring. A city whose greatness was measured not by noise, but by the calm architecture of its thinking. 7. Antikythera mechanism. When divers recovered a bronze mass from a shipwreck near Antikythera in 1901, it was written off as debris. Decades later, when its gears were scanned and studied, the fragments began to shift perception. Dating to the 2nd century BCE, this mechanical device did more than turn. It calculated. It followed lunar phases, charted celestial paths, and tracked cycles with mathematical accuracy. Nothing as it existed elsewhere in the ancient world. Its scale and precision belonged to a timeline no one had imagined. In 2021, reconstructed models brought their movement back to life, though questions remain about its origins and the mind that shaped it. This wasn't an invention for spectacle. It was a function buried in bronze. No inscription explained it. No second copy has ever been found. The mechanism didn't rewrite ancient astronomy. It exposed how much of it we had forgotten. Quietly, it returned knowledge that never should have been lost. 6. Troy once lived only in verse. Its fall echoed through centuries of poetry, but scholars long doubted its walls had ever existed outside myth. That changed when excavations at Asarlik unearthed a buried city shaped by fire, siege, and rebuilding. Stone walls rose in layers, each one tied to a different chapter in its long history. Among them, one layer bore the signs of a violent end: arrowheads, ash, destruction where a city once stood. The names were gone, but the damage remained. No wooden horse sat among the ruins, yet something about the layout, the weapons, and the collapse aligned with old stories. The city's rediscovery didn't confirm legend. It revealed how close memory sits beside fiction. Troy didn't rise to prove a point. It returned to remind us that even the grandest myths often begin in dust, and that sometimes the line between poetry and ruin is thinner than we expect. 5 Dead Sea Scrolls. Tucked away in the cliffs above the Dead Sea, fragments of parchment rested for nearly 2,000 years. When they were uncovered in 1947, the language was familiar, but the age was not. These scrolls, hidden in jars, layered in dust, contain some of the oldest known writings from the Hebrew tradition. Verses and passages mirrored scripture, but not entirely. Some revealed changes. Others preserved ideas long forgotten. They hadn't been placed there to be found. They'd been hidden, likely in haste during unrest. Dozens of caves held more fragments. Each brought scholars closer to a time when belief was still being shaped, not yet formalized. These weren't artifacts for display. They were transition pages, written by people whose names no one remembers. Preserved without protection, surviving through silence, the scrolls didn't rewrite anything. They reminded the world that memory, even when nearly erased, sometimes waits in fragments, folded into the rock. 4 Pompeii. The eruption that buried Pompeii didn't shatter it, it preserved it. When ash rained from the sky in 79 AD, it sealed streets, doorways, and lives in place. Beneath the hardened layers, rooms remained intact. Walls kept their paint. Tools stayed where they had last been touched. Bodies left behind the shapes of their final movements. Excavation didn't reveal a ruin, it revealed a day. There were bakeries, bathhouses, inner courtyards, and the quiet details of daily life. Pompeii held no single narrative. It offered dozens, each unfinished, each abandoned in the middle of something ordinary. That stillness became its power. Most ancient cities leave foundations. This one left echoes of routine. No monument could have explained life in such full shape. What Pompeii gave wasn't a story told after the fact. It was a world pause, not by design, but by circumstance. And in that stillness, the past remained visible without needing to speak. 3. Library of Ashurbanipal. Nineveh burned, but its library didn't. Buried beneath the ruins, thousands of clay tablets outlasted the palace that once held them. Each one carried words pressed by hand: hymns, medicine, law, ritual, calculation. The library, collected under Ashurbanipal in the 7th century BCE, was more than a record. It was an archive with an intention. These weren't scraps. They were selections. Among them, the Epic of Gilgamesh survived, still asking the same questions across time. Fire should have destroyed it all. Instead, it preserved the tablets, hardening them in heat. No gold or carvings made the library remarkable. Just language, made permanent by accident. This collection wasn't built to impress. It was built to endure. And it did. When the tablets resurfaced centuries later, the empire was long gone. But the thoughts remained intact. Through cracked clay and ancient script, an entire civilization kept speaking, long after its city stopped standing. 2. Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis. She didn't tower, she didn't carry tools or speak. But when her bones came to light in Ethiopia in 1974, everything changed. Lucy stood barely over 3 feet tall, her frame shaped for walking on 2 legs. She belonged to a species that existed more than 3 million years ago. What she left behind wasn't complete, but it was enough. Her pelvis, knees, and spine told a simple truth. She walked upright. No monument marked her life. No fire lit her home. Yet her skeleton became one of the clearest pieces of early human ancestry ever uncovered. She stood at a point where the climb began to shift toward the ground. Not a symbol, not a link, but a sign of movement already underway. In her silence was motion. Her body carried a rhythm closer to us than expected, and what she gave wasn't answers, but a clearer path toward the ones still missing. 1. The Rosetta Stone. The stone itself wasn't large, it wasn't flawless, but across its surface ran the same passage in 3 different scripts. For centuries, one of those scripts, hieroglyphics, had remained closed. With the Rosetta Stone, that silence began to fade. It didn't happen quickly. Word by word, symbol by sound, the code was undone through repetition and patience. Names once trapped in stone gained sound. Prayers found meaning. Contracts and decrees revealed everyday life across temples and tombs. This wasn't just about language, it was about access. Before the stone, Egypt's past stood behind pictures. After it, the voices behind those images returned. The stone didn't offer a grand story of its own. It gave shape to all the others. Without it, so much would have remained decoration. With it, history began to speak again. Not in fragments, not as myth, but as lived detail. And what had once been unreadable slowly became something understood. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, then like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you later.